It's a beautiful day today in the neighborhood. Welcome back to Monday, beginning of another wonderful week and brand new possibilities with God. Welcome. Don't give up on what people look like on the outside. Don't give up on them regardless of what they look like. So the other day I was in rush hour traffic. I wonder why it's called rush hour, because everyone is crawling on the highway. But I was in what's called rush hour traffic. And I glanced to the side and I saw this building, and the first thought that came to my mind is, I wonder why the city doesn't tear this down. It's ugly, it's old, it's falling apart. And the other thought that came to my mind was, this is a beautiful building. If someone invested money in it and updated it, stripped all the old paint off, repaired the broken fence, the roof and everything, it'll turn out to be a beautiful building. And made me think, don't give up on anyone because of what they look like on the outer. Now I want to remind you of what 1 Samuel said, and I'll read it to you. 1 Samuel says, the Lord said unto Samuel, this 1 Samuel 16:7, the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. How many times have you given up on people because of the way they look? You know, they say you never have a second chance to make a first impression. But how many times have you actually carried that out without giving that person a chance to tell you who they are on the inside? It reminded me of a story, and I want to ask you this way. Do you remember the story in the Bible of the man that preached about Christ in 10 cities? And the Bible described it as, and I'm going to read it to you, the Bible described when he went to preach in the 10 cities. So the man started off to visit 10 towns of that region and began to proclaim the great things Jesus had done for him. And everyone was amazed at what he had told them. Everyone was amazed at what he had told them. Do you remember that story of that man, of that wonderful man that did that? Well, let me tell it to you the way the Bible tells it. And this is in Mark chapter 5. Mark chapter 5 says, beginning from verse 2, when Jesus climbed out of a boat, a man possessed by an evil spirit came out from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the burial graves and could no longer be restrained even with a chain. So if you had seen this man coming out to meet Jesus, I would have done the same thing too. I would have said, are we really sure of this man? He's coming from the graves. And from the way the Bible described him, he must have been very ripe, for one, and he must have been very battered by the world, the elements, the wind, the rain, and by the fact that he threw himself around. And looking at him, I would have honestly said, is there really any hope for this man? But thank God Jesus didn't say that. Jesus healed this man, cast the demons out and healed this man, and then turned him around and sent him out to be a missionary to 10 cities. So who do you have in your life that you have made up your mind based on what you see that person can never make it, that person can never do anything? Or is it you, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you think to yourself, I could never be that person, I could never do that? Is that for real? Are you serious? Don't give up on yourself. It looks like in my last few messages I've been talking about giving up. Don't give up on yourself. If Jesus could take this man out of the burial caves that was very ripe, and looked very battered, and turned him around and sent him to be a missionary, how much more you? The Bible tells us And I'm going to read this out for you in Psalm 139 verse 14. Psalm 139 verse 14 says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and my soul knoweth right well. How many times have you looked in the mirror and said, I am fearfully and wonderfully made? The Bible also tells us that the plans that God has for us are for good and not for evil, to bring us to an expected end. So don't give up on people. Don't give up on people. And especially do not give up on yourself. Because Christ never gave up on you. He died for you. He has a plan and a purpose for you. He has a plan and a purpose for that person that just flew through your mind you're thinking about. Don't give up on them. Just like that building, imagine what that person could be. Pray for them. Help them out. Reach out to them. Don't let them go, because Christ didn't let you go. It's a beautiful day today in the neighborhood.